How will the players that the New York Jets drafted in 2023 contribute to the team in 2024? This is show number 2 on the day. Let's roll.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, everyone? This is show number 2 on the day. If you missed the first show, definitely go check it out when you are done over here. It was a great show. I was joined by Antoine Staley, New York Jets beat writer for the New York Daily News. But let's focus on the present. Here we are on a Sunday evening talking some Jets. Everyone, thank you guys for coming in. Type your questions in the chat. Type in the chat. Love to engage with everyone in the live chat. But like I said, breaking down the 2023 Jets draft class and how those individuals will contribute to the New York Jets in 2024. And at 7:30 p.m., I will get a co-host. Brandyn Pokrass of Jet X Factor will join the show at 7:30 p.m. So in roughly 28 minutes, he will come on. So really looking forward to that. But I already see Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in here. Happy Sunday. Hey, everyone. Yeah. How was your weekend? Weekend's coming to an end. Hope you guys had a great weekend like I did. But let's get right into it. Breaking down the Jets 2023 draft class, and we're going to start right at the top of the board. Jets did 15th overall in the first round of the 2023 NFL draft. So obviously, going back to the 2023 draft, this was a pick that caused a lot of, eyebrows to raise. An edge at pick 15. Very interesting. Obviously, we did not get to see him a ton last year. We just didn't. We didn't get to see him in full effect in the pass and run game. So, I can expect an increased role for McDonald going into this year. I think the big jump for him is how early is he going to get to 10 sacks? Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Because a first-round pick on an edge rusher, I need someone coming in and getting 10 sacks in his third year. I need him to be a continuous 10-sack guy for his career. I know that might be a lot to ask for a guy at a McDonald's, but he's a first-round pick. I want 10 sacks a year out of him if I'm using a first-round pick on an edge rusher. So, yeah, I can expect. I want him and JJ to combine for 20. I think that's doable. I'm really interested though to see McDonald play more because like I said, he did not play at all last year. So I will be really interested to see how he looks when he kind of has more. He's kind of going to play more on this defense. So I find that really interesting pick there, and hope he could be a double-digit guy this year. Moving on, second round, 43rd overall, the Jets select center Joe Tippmann out of Wisconsin. Personally, love Tip. Love this pick. Great pick by Joe Douglas and company, a center. Personally, you can move him to guard and center. He plays interior, but I want this guy to be the next Nick Mangold, and he showed it last year when he played. When he played at center, he looked top-notch player. He looked very, very solid. So, like I said, I want him to be the next Nick Mangold. Hard shoes to fill, but I really like Tip. He's probably my favorite pick out of this whole class, just because everything. He move him around on the interior, and he contributes. He showed a bunch of flashes last year. Played great on the at guard and center, and then. Going to our next pick in the 2023 draft, staying on the O-line, Carter Warren. 4th round pick, 112 overall, Carter Warren, offensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. Now, this is a really, really interesting name. A lot of Jet fans are split. Can this guy play? Some people, a.k.a. Damian Woody on Twitter, would be the biggest one, who's a big Carter Warren fan. And then you have a guy like Joe Blewett, whose opinions I value incredibly, who's not a big fan of Warren and thinks he's a project. He released a full review on Carter Warren today over on the JetX YouTube channel. Definitely go check that out. But yeah, he's a really interesting name, and personally, I don't think he can start this year. I would not feel comfortable with him starting for the New York Jets at tackle. If someone like a Moses went down, I maybe feel comfortable. But with Moses and Smith, I'm happy that he's not in a position where he's going to need to be a week one starter. And I like that the Jets have that depth where they can. You don't have to force a guy like Carter Warren right into the system. Obviously, with the exception of injuries. Obviously, he might have to come in due to injuries as just Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith just don't have a great history of being healthy. So I 100% think he's gonna need to come in at some point this season, and I hope he can show. Once they put him on the field, I hope they never take him off. That's how well I hope he plays. I'm rooting for him. I like him, but like I said, I just don't think he could be. I wouldn't feel comfortable if he was starting week one for the New York Jets. So that's my stance on Warren. Moving over to the next pick, a very controversial name going around right now in the Jets organization. Running back Israel Abandokonda. The New York Jets selected him in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft, pick number 143. So, I can talk about this topic for hours, and I'm going to start right now. So, the Jets selected Izzy in the 5th round. They had they had Brees, and then they signed Dalvin Cook. So, pretty packed running back room and then they had Michael Carter. So, pretty packed running back room going into that season, and then Izzy was obviously there. So odds were stacked against him. They gave him minimal reps. I thought he looked okay when he saw those reps. He didn't look, oh my God, great. But he's not like, okay, I'm not like this guy's a liability. So, going into this year, I thought that Dalvin Cook, obviously not on the roster, I thought the Jets would obviously draft a running back, but also sign a veteran. They did not sign a veteran. They did later on, but what they did is they drafted 2 running backs back to back. Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin, who has a crazy build, and then running back Isaiah Davis, and then they went out and signed Tariq Cohen. So personally, I think Izzy's the odd man out. I think he's playing for a spot I 100% think he's playing for a roster spot. I think he's going to be a practice squad guy at best. If he's on this team, it's some sort of practice squad. I cannot see the Jets carrying. I think they'll running backs. There's no chance, in my opinion, that the Jets will carry 5 running backs, and I think he's the 5th one. It'll be really interesting to see how the Jets look at him altering what's his name, Tariq Cohen, just because I think Cohen hasn't played in a long time, and he's more of a special teams guy. But I've made my point clear. I think he's running back 5 out of 5 on this depth chart. So that's where I stand on running back Israel Abandokonda. But look, if he's a really solid preseason, don't doubt him. I definitely think, I think he can be a solid player. Do not doubt him. Do not doubt him. I like him. I like him, but I'm not gonna be. I'm an Izzy guy, but I'm not gonna be to the point where I'm like, okay, I think he should start over Braylon Allen. I think Braylon's easily gonna be the running back 2. I think Braylon's gonna easily be the running back 2, and then 3 is gonna be fought between kind of Isaiah Davis, Tariq Cohen, and Izzy. I think 3 will go to either Cohen or Davis. Like I said, I do not think it will be Izzy. I think Izzy is going to be 5 out of 5. But like I said, you never know. A guy like him could always work his way up. Always, always, always work his way up. But yeah, that's where I stand on Izzy. Moving over to the next pick. We have 2 picks left. Jets select linebacker Zaire Barnes out of Western Michigan in the 6th round of the 2023 NFL Draft, pick number 184. So Barnes is a very interesting player. Very interesting player. A linebacker, and this linebacker room definitely could use some help. As a 6th round guy like Barnes, my hope is, I don't think he's going to play a ton this year. My hope is CJ Mosley could do what he did to Quincy. And if Zaire Barnes could develop half as well as Quincy, I will take that as a W in the 6th round. If he could develop a half as well as Quincy Williams is, I will take that as a W in the 6th round. That's just that's what I think. That's how I look at the Zaire Barnes kind of situation, linebacker. But again, CJ Mosley's a leader. He developed Quincy. Let's hope he could do the same to Zaire Barnes. Final pick before we get to some questions in the chat, and then we'll go over to Bobby Midnight, and then in about 20 minutes, I will have Brandyn Pokrass of Jet X Factor join me on the program. So, 7th round, 2023 NFL Draft, the Jets select tight end Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion. And Kuntz, going in, the odds were, like I said, the odds were stacked against him. They had Uzama, who's no longer on the team. They had Conklin, and then they had Ruckert. And Uzama's no longer with the Jets, but they still have Conklin, Ruckert, and Kenny Yeboah, who has impressed a lot in training camp this year. Personally, Kuntz, I think it's going to be an uphill battle to crack the 53. You never doubt the kid, though. Never doubt the kid. I know Yeboah's look great. Personally, if I had to pick, I'd say he's going to be a practice squad guy, and I think it would look like tight end room's going to look like Conklin, Ruckert, and then Yeboah. But really interested to see what the Jets want to do in their tight end room, because the last couple of years they've had a lot of bodies in the tight end room. So I'm interested to see the way they utilize them. Let's get into the chat. We already said what's up to Daniel Berry Sports highlights. My boy Alan in the chat. CL, what an awesome setup. Keep up the good work. Outshine all these other YouTubers. That especially that redhead, referring to Jake Asman, a legend himself, Jake Asman. Aurora's in the chat. Good to see you, Aurora. Happy, hey Connor, happy Sunday, Alan. Nice to see you in the chat. Two legends, Aurora and Alan. Always great to see the two in the chat. Bobby Midnight in the chat. Hi, Alan. I agree. Hi, Alan. I think Connor is awesome and a very smart for 12 years old. Too. Do you agree with me? Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Rora's pumped to see Bobby in the chat. Let's see what else we got. Bobby again. Hi, Aurora, my friend. You are awesome. Aurora again. Alan, you. Aurora, Bobby's awesome. Everyone. Good to see everyone in the chat. Good to see everyone in the chat. Let's see. See how many questions that we have. Aurora. I think they will have 4 running backs. To be honest, Connor, that's what they want to be more That's what they want to be more identify with. Oh yeah, it'll be interesting as how Izzy competes in training camp. Yeah, 100% agree. Uphill battle for Izzy. Uphill battle for Izzy. Alan coming back in. I'm a big CL fan, very passionate and very driven. There are a few good guys that I like, and CL is one of them. I tend to side with disseminating opinion makers. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Aurora, I think Kuntz or Yeboah is going to surprise us and make the team. I think it's Yeboah. Aurora, he's looked really good in OTAs. I don't know if you've been. Robbie Sabo's been big on him. He's been on Jake's show, talked about it a ton. I really think it's Yeboah who's going to make it over Kuntz. Or again, they wanted to tight end set. Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to run something similar to that. But guys, we have a call on the line. We're going to go over to him. Bobby Midnight joining the show.
Hey, Connor, how was your day today?
I'm doing great, Bobby. How about you?
You had your second show today. I was surprised. I said, I got to get on your show. I missed your first show. How did
You did?
Daily News, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You were on stream, right?
Yeah, I was on stream. I'm sorry. I had a lot of people.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I wasn't available to call in, but I watched for a little when I saw you.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I know you had the guy from Daily News. He's a cool guy, right? I like him.
Yeah, Antoine's great. But Bobby, where are you standing right now in the running back tight end room?
Well, I think, unfortunately, Izzy is gone. I'm sorry to tell you that. I think they're gonna keep Cohen, and maybe Izzy makes it to the practice squad. Maybe.
I think Izzy's gone. I agree. I think Izzy.
Oh, you think Izzy's gone too? Oh, hi, Nate. Nate's a cool guy too. Don't forget Nate.
Good to see Nate in the chat. What's up, Nate? But yeah, I think Izzy. I agree with you. I think he's a practice squad guy at best, really.
Yeah.
Just because it'll be interesting though to see how the Jets look at him versus Cohen, given Cohen hasn't played in so long. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Jets look at him. But Bobby, you got any shows tonight?
No, not tonight. I went to 1:00 in the morning last night. Nope. I'd probably go over to midnight if I stay up that late.
Bobby Midnight.
Oh yeah, look who it is, Dano. You know Dano?
Love Dano. Good to see Dano in the chat.
The countdown has begun for you, huh? What day you get out of school at? What date?
I got finals starting Thursday, and then they end Wednesday, but I'm only going in for 2 hours for the finals. That's how it works.
You get out early, don't you?
No, my last day of going in is June 15th. So after June 15th, I'm done for good. Like summer
Congratulations. You can't wait, huh?
14, no, 13 days. Whew.
Then you could do your shows then during the day, huh?
Yeah, like afternoon shows, which I don't know, like
Yes.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it because normally like school year when it's not weekends or break, I can either do I have to do after 4:30 every day, which is
Right. No, that's fine for you. That's a good time before dinner
it's a
time.
good
Before
time, but I like to have more availability.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you gotta pick a time you like. That's true. But I'm
Yeah.
happy your thing is doing good. You got 475 subscribers.
No, I got more. I got 675 right now.
Oh, okay. I misread it, but you're almost up to 1,000. So keep it going.
Almost there. And Bobby, you're getting up there too. You've grown fast on your show. I mean, you
I know.
how
I
many
was surprised. I only started off with like 100 something. And
what when was your first like actual show on that? Like when you recently started back up. When was your first show?
I think like 2 weeks ago. I want to say 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that long? Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it
Nice.
was 2 weeks. Hey, you gotta have a great guy on Brandyn Brains. He's a great kid. He's young
Brendan.
like you. He's a very young kid. You guys
Yeah,
are pretty smart.
do you remember him from I know you're big on the with Jigga. You remember when he was
Yeah,
on with Jigga?
Jigga. That's where they had his. I couldn't remember. He told me he was on Jigga with the
Italy Jet.
yeah, Italy Jet. They always had the Brendan Brains. Yeah, that's it.
And
Jigga.
now and then you watch the new one with Gunny, Abby, and Jigga, right?
Oh yeah, I like Abby, but I couldn't get on to talk to Abby. Oh,
Were you on Gunny's show the other day? With Abby was on Gunny's show, I
I
think.
tried to get on, but I didn't get on.
You didn't get on. Yeah, but
No, but I saw Abby. She did good. She always does good.
yeah, she works with James Woody for Take Flight Talk. Really good.
Oh, the one that goes on with
Boy Green.
yeah on Wednesday afternoons. Yeah,
Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday afternoons. But
right.
Bobby, really appreciate the call. You
Oh
got me.
yeah, just tell my friend I said hello. Okay, Brendan Brains. Okay, for me.
I got you, Bobby. Great
Okay, I'll
rest of your
see you
night.
next show. You're on. Okay, kid.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See you.
excellent. Bye now.
Bye. Great call as always from the legend Bobby Midnight. We got some more questions in the chat, so we will get to those. I said, "What's up to Dano? Good to see you, my man." Aurora. I'm feeling the Jets will sign another veteran O line. I think they're gonna re-sign McGovern for sure, and I think they might do more after that. And I agree with Dano. They need help in the interior. That's why I think McGovern is going to be a guy who comes back. He's going to be a guy who comes back. I really think that it's going to be a guy who comes back. Alan, another one. Thank you. A lot of people have been agreeing with me on this. Izzy is gone. I still think we are a wide receiver and O line, interior O lineman short. Hard to see Mike Williams starting this season on an active roster. I mean, it can't help. I mean, it can't hurt. It can't help. Can't hurt to add another guy who's on the cheaper side. And yeah, I agree. We're definitely short on the interior line. Definitely could use some help there. 100% agree. Interior. But I do think, the combination of Brownlee and Gibson, I think that can kind of get us by for a little, but it can't hurt to add a veteran guy cheap. Who's on, who are the names? Maybe if we're to bring Corey Davis back, let me check the names that are on Spot Rack right now. See the names that are available for wide receivers because I haven't seen. They're on I know there's a good amount. I just don't know the names off the top of my head. Positions. Wide receiver. Taking a second to load. Alright, I'll come back to it when it fully loads. In the meantime, let's get back to some questions in chat. Yeah, Alan, I got to yours. I said I agree with you. Dana back in. Connie and I, well, not Connie and I. When Bobby and I were talking about the nightcap, I wish the nightcap wasn't a limited off-season series. Dana, I'm going to be completely honest. I have not been tuned into the nightcap these last few weeks. I did not know it was a limited off-season series. Disappointed about that with you too, Dana. I like that show a lot. Gunny, Jigga, and Abby are like a great trio. Great trio. between Jigga's energy and then Gunny and Abby with the in-depth analysis, it makes for a great show. Nate coming back in. Would you agree that Stigger's probably the best cornerback in all of North America? For a 5th-round pick out of the CFL, yeah. I think he's, in all seriousness though, I think he is solid. And if you can ease him in, I think he can be a really, really nice player. Ease him into this game, into the secondary, and I think he can be a very successful cornerback, developed properly under a guy like DJ Reed, who's here, a veteran who has experience, knows the game really well. I really like what I see in Stigger so far throughout OTAs and stuff. Nate again. I joke, but I do love Stiggers. Do you prioritize DJ Reed or Michael Carter II re-signing? We talked about that a lot with Antoine Staley earlier today. Personally, I prioritize what's his name, Carter, just because I do think that because he's the slot and the nickels are so hard to come by. Nickels are so hard to come by, and we have wrong question. Nickels are so hard to come by, and we have one of the best in the league. I think you keep Carter. Also, he's younger. Perfect world, I'd love to have both back, but I do think the Jets only land one. And the problem is talks haven't even started yet with Carter II. I do think I think Carter II's going to walk in. I think DJ Reed comes back. I want Carter to come back over Reed, but yeah, I'd rather have MC2 come back. Allen, I'd rather have Bobby Midnight catching passes than Corey Davis. Yeah, but if you can get him for a new deal cheap, I think it can't hurt. You mentioned wide receiver depth. I mean, why can't it hurt adding a guy back who's really liked around the Jets organization? Can't hurt. Cheaper option. Ron P. Develop properly with the Jets. Good luck. Hey, they do have a really solid defensive back room in terms of veterans and players who know the game, along with just good defensive coaching too in the secondary. Dano Jets following up with the nightcap. Yeah, he's going back and starting the evening brew back up with Italy season 2. Gunny and Abs was just for the off season. Pretty good though. Yeah, I remember they had, and then Brandyn was doing evening brew with Italy and Jigga. So it's interesting to see what they do. Interesting to see if they go back to that same exact show, because I really liked that show in season. It was a really solid show. They had good guests too. I think they had like Cynthia Freeland of NFL Network at a point, which was that's a huge get. I'd love to have Cynthia on my show. She's great. Allen, Corey Davis has stone hands. We already have one stiff stone-handed receiver. I think Corey Davis and Alan Lazard are different. I think they're different. I'd take Davis over Lazard personally any day. Davis over Lazard. Dano, huge get for Frillin. Yeah, I agree. Dano, Connor, what if you're in high school and you find the perfect girl to date, but she's a Patriots fan? What do? Never go near a Patriots fan. See, it'd be one thing if it was like a. See, the Patriots are the only team, like, I don't like the Bills and the Dolphins, but the Patriots are the only team in the division that I absolutely hate. Like, I strongly dislike the Dolphins. I do not like the Bills. But the Patriots are the only team where it's like, I effing hate you guys. Like, that's the only team where I just hate this organization so much. Like, maybe if it was a Dolphins fan or a Bills fan, maybe, but definitely not a Patriots fan. Definitely not a Patriots fan. Guys, my guest is here. He's waiting to join. He is the one, the only Brandyn Pokrass of JetX. Brandyn, how you doing tonight? Got me?
Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, the audio wasn't coming through. It was very broken up, but how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Brandyn. How about you? Glad to have you in here.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Can't complain. Down in Florida for a little bit, visit my grandparents. But yeah, really excited to talk some Jets tonight.
I mean, you're at Daryl Strawberry's retirement. Then I saw a tough loss, obviously, and then the Mets blow the save today, and then you're down in Florida at least. So, are you enjoying it? Well, it's getting warmer here in the metropolitan area, kind of. But are you enjoying the warm weather down in Florida?
I mean, yeah, I just got down here today. It's been great down here already. So, absolutely.
Nice, nice. Good to hear it. Let's dive right into it. Obviously, you are one of the biggest names that have been in OTAs when practices have been open to the media, and you've been documenting everything on Twitter, going on the Jake Asman show. You on the Play Like a Jet podcast. You've been everywhere. Boy Green show. You've been everywhere. So, just what are your overall thoughts on guys like the rookies in OTA so far? Obviously, guys like Stiggers have looked great. Could you expect out of Stiggers? And someone came in earlier, and on my first show, would you feel comfortable if the Jets like let go of MC2 and Reed, and it was literally Stiggers and Eccles kind of roaming that room behind Sauce?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the rookies, I think it's very important to understand what point of the offseason we're in, right? Because this is still the ramp up period. You're not going to see certain rookies get fully involved into the offense until training camp. I think the biggest example of this would be a guy like Malachi Corley, who hasn't had too many reps with the offense so far, but a guy that's still learning the playbook. And you know that he's going to be a big part of what the Jets want to do, not only this year, but going forward. You've heard how the organization has talked about him, what they want him to be in this offense, the type of mentality that he brings to the table. He's going to be involved, but it's going to take some time. We've seen this with the Jets with a lot of rookies, right? Whether it be a Garrett Wilson who wasn't even a part of the starting lineup right off the bat. We saw this with Sauce Gardner, who the Jets didn't even give technically the starting cornerback role to. They made him battle with Bryce Hall. You're going to see that from some of their rookies, which is going to allow them to build up even more and become that much better, hopefully, when the season arrives. But there have been some guys that have shown out. I've talked about Braylon Allen a lot. He's someone that hasn't only just showed the running ability, but a receiving ability that I felt like is underrated right now and could be a really big asset to the Jets as their RB2 in the season, where if Brees Hall needs a spell for a play or two or a series or two, you have a guy that not only is a downhill bruiser, but can also give you not just pass blocking, but actual receiving yardage in the passing game. And then when you move on to Stiggers, right, because I think this is the biggest question people have. He is a guy that is already flashing. He showed the talent already in a professional league where he won the Rookie of the Year in the CFL. We're not talking college football where it's a lot of kids coming out of high school. We're not talking some semi-pro league. We're talking another professional league where there's guys that played in the NFL that are playing in that league. You're dealing with a wider field. You're dealing with deeper end zones. And for him to play at that level, you're talking about a guy with a ton of talent. So him flashing in OTAs, whether it be the sticky coverage that he's provided, whether it's been the pick six that he had on Friday, you're seeing a lot of really good things from a player that, let's face it, is likely going to be a depth option in 2024. You have Reed, you have Sauce, you have MC2. It's an extreme luxury that the Jets backup or second backup corner could be that good. Could be a guy that, if he stepped into a starter's role, could never give it back. And that transitions into the second part of the question because, like you said, someone asked, okay, can the Jets let Reed and MC2 walk next year and then just roll with Eccles and Stiggers? I think that the more likely one is going to be DJ Reed because if you look at the age, he's approaching that 30-year-old mark. And unfortunately, in the NFL, a lot of teams operate off the fact that when a guy's reached 30 years old, it's time to move off them. You have some outliers, whether it is at the cornerback position, whether it is at wideout. But the vast majority of the time, the team is going to move off that type of player and get a younger player in the building. Stiggers is an outside guy. He's only ran as an outside guy this offseason. I'm sure he could have some more flexibility, but it seems like the Jets view him as an outside guy. Reed has been phenomenal for the Jets in his time here, but it seems like just in terms of what he would demand on that next contract and what the years would look like for that next contract, unless the team could figure it out in terms of a shorter year length and maybe a shorter AAV than what would be anticipated on the open market, he's probably the more likely one to go. When it comes to MC2, I feel like slot corner is one of the most underrated positions in the NFL.
Yep.
And I feel like this is a guy the Jets need to lock up early.
They're
And
so hard
we
to come
saw,
by.
yeah, and we saw the report today. I think it was from Rich Samini mentioned it,
Yeah,
that
so
those talks haven't started yet. Let's flash back to a few years ago. Talks with Quinn and Williams kind of stalled out, and there was no reports of them working any deal out. That deal was done before training camp of that season. So I wouldn't say it's the end of the world that they haven't talked a contract extension. But on the other hand, this is a deal that the Jets can't drag their feet with. Look no further than the Bryce Huff situation. And I know that is a different one. I know they drafted Will McDonald. I know that the Jets never really viewed Huff as this legitimate long-term piece until this year. When it comes to MC2, he's shown it countless seasons. He's shown that he is one of the better players at his position, being slot corner, in the NFL. And when you have a guy like that, you don't let the market come to you. And this is just my opinion, but you don't let the market come to you. You dictate the market. This is something that the Jets need to practice and get down before the likes of Sauce, the likes of Garrett Wilson, the likes of Breece Hall, the likes of Jermaine Johnson are ready for those extensions next year. Because if the Jets fall back into their habits, and once again, we're assuming that it's the same front office, the same philosophy, lots of things can change from this point to June 2nd, 2025. But at this point right now, this Jets front office needs to get ahead of the 8 ball in no less terms. They need to get moving on a deal. They need to get the framework of a deal set in place sooner rather than later. Because, look, what is the strength of this cornerback room? It's not just that they have the good starters, but it's that they're deep. It's that if a guy goes down, they're not going to lose a step. If you let both Michael Carter II and DJ Reed walk out, okay, cool. Sauce is still one of the best corners in the NFL, and you're probably going to pay him. Quantez Stiggers could step right into the CB2 role, and Braden Eccles steps into CB3 slot corner, however you want to define it. Who are your backups then? Are you drafting? Are you drafting
Fred
two cornerbacks?
James would probably be the backup.
Right, but now you're losing that depth that is so important to you at this position. It's what makes it one of the best position groups in terms of cornerbacks in all the NFL. You're losing what made that group special. If you still have Sauce and MC2, now you're able to withstand an injury or two. Now you're able to still have that defense, at least on the outside, perform at a high level. He's just a guy as an MC2. He plays a valuable position. He's been really good at that position. You don't let guys like that just simply walk out the door.
Yep. I 100% agree. And with the depth thing too, I think they need to retain one of them just because the depth is what makes it. Like, I would not feel comfortable with a guy like Stiggers starting year one. The whole thing is I want the Jets to be so comfortable with him where we're not panicking if he has to come in for an injury and fulfill a DJ Reed, a Sauce Gardner type role. But I want him to have time to sit and develop. I don't want to have him get thrown into the fire right away. And, you mentioned like prioritizing re-signing the 4. My worst nightmare is the Jets think that, they don't re-sign either one of those guys, and then they don't even get all four. Realistically, I think the Jets get. I think the Jets get Reed. I want Carter, but I think realistically, I think the Jets get Reed back. Carter walks, and then in terms of re-signing the four, my ideal personally, you know, I think Sauce is 100% a lock. I think Jermaine's out. I think it's between for the two. That I'd resign. It's between it's Sauce, and then it's between Brees or Garrett. You can make a statement for either one. Brees, a lot of people would lean towards personally, just because a franchise running back is hard to come by, and he's shown that already. But I think the Jets are going to get one of these two, and then two out of the four for the rookie class.
I think the problem with predicting who they resign, who they give extensions, is that they still technically have 2 years of control on most of these guys, even if they don't get the extension done. And then you also have the aspect of the franchise tag and giving themselves more time to get an extension done. It's so hard to predict who stays, who's retained, who goes outside of the guys that are just simple free agents. Because look, at the end of the day, if you look at, and we'll focus on the Sauce, Brees, Garrett, Jermaine trio, it is very likely that Sauce Gardner, I mean, not very likely, it's a certainty that the fifth-year option for Sauce Gardner is picked up. It's a certainty that the fifth-year option for Garrett Wilson is picked up. Jermaine, I think it's pretty likely, but I think him having another step forward as a player would make that more likely, which then leaves Brees as the
Because he's a
first
second
quote-unquote.
rounder. He's a
Yes,
second rounder. He doesn't have that option.
It leaves him as that quote-unquote first guy that you need to lock down. Personally, I think you either have to get Sauce or Garrett locked down right away and then move on to Brees, because running back isn't going to be as expensive. You're not going to have the market seemingly change in an instant because another top guy at their position signed an insane amount that now raised the entire market. The cornerback and wide receiver positions, it's not even that they're two of the most important positions in the game, because they are. It's the fact that these markets are moving so quickly. I think the Jets, as an organization, need to monitor how the wide receiver extensions look this year. And I'm not saying that in terms of, oh, this is how we're going to model the Garrett one, just to see how the teams that move first versus move last react. Because you have CeeDee Lamb, you have T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase, you have Justin Jefferson. Whoever moves first on the deal is most likely going to get a bargain. Whoever moves last is going to be in a really tough scenario. But that's hypothetical. We don't know what those numbers look like. We don't know if all the subsequent contracts are going to top each other. You don't know if all those guys are going to be retained. It's a lot of what ifs right now. But I think what the Jets can learn from that is, okay, how does our season impact what we want to do? Because that's first and foremost. What does the 2024 season look like?
What is the plan?
Right. If the Jets flame out, you might be looking at one extension, and maybe a Garrett Wilson doesn't want to be there anymore. Maybe a Brees Hall doesn't want to be there anymore. You have no idea how these things can play out. It's sports. It's professional sports. We see crazy things happen all the time. If the Jets have the season that everyone anticipates them having, how do you plan going forward? What does the front office want to do in terms of prioritizing contracts and balancing the extensions of their core four, I'd say, versus the rest of the roster being built out? It's a lot of things where, and I'll come back to this time and time again, you're not going to know until you get closer. It's fun to prognosticate, right? What the Garrett Wilson extension and how that's going to look. It's fun to prognosticate the Sauce Gardner extension. It's fun to prognosticate if Brees Hall and Jermaine Johnson, and even to an extent Garrett Wilson, if they're still going to be Jets beyond those rookie contracts. You simply don't know until you get beyond this season. Because if this season goes according to plan, Aaron Rodgers likely returns, unless they win the Super Bowl, rides off into the sunset, and then everyone's okay anyway. If you have a bad season, what does that look like? And then you have everything in between the really bad and the really good. So it's something that I agree with you should be monitored very, very closely. And I agree with you that this is a aspect of the Jets' future, whether it is these four or the cornerback room that needs to be monitored. But you're going to have so much more clarity once this season gets rolling. And once you see what the building looks like, and once you see what the environment around the team looks like.
Yeah, I know people are forgetting though. It's June 2nd. We still have so much time
So much
until
time. So much
so
time.
much time until we get anything figured out. And I know, like, obviously, I don't think there's going to be a problem, but I don't know if fans have noticed, but Jets have not signed Malachi Corley yet. Like, he is still not officially a New York Jet, but I feel very confident. He's been at every rookie camp, every OTA. But speaking of not being like signed, but not for long, is Hassan Reddick, and he has not been at any OTAs. And the real question is going to become if he shows up to mandatory minicamp, which will begin in a few weeks. Do you think he's going to hold out for an extension?
I don't think that'd be a wise decision. Now, would it surprise me? Probably not. But I think you got to look at it like this, right? What type of impression does he want to make on a team that just traded for him? Obviously, the long-term stability makes sense. I'm always pro player. I always want players getting every single dollar that they can get because specifically in this sport, in football,
Not for long.
careers end in a blink of an eye. Careers end through some fluky things, and you can't predict what tomorrow looks like. I just don't think that in all likelihood a holdout is going to happen because just from a logical standpoint, him getting traded to this team and never playing a snap for them and immediately demanding an extension, it's like, okay, the Jets might not have as much leverage, but got to remember, what does a Reddick extension do in terms of their prospects of keeping DJ Reed and Michael Carter II? What does that extension do for their prospects of keeping Garrett and Sauce and Jermaine and Brees? So it's not as simple anymore as, oh, the Jets need to give Reddick an extension. They have to think about their future and everything going forward. And I think the most important thing about the Reddick situation, and obviously, like you said, it's been all optional practices. The mandatory minicamp starts, I think, June 11th or in that time frame. He wants to win. He got traded to the Jets for an opportunity to win. So if you're operating off that line of thinking, it wouldn't make too much sense for a guy that is very focused and very adamant on coming to a situation where he wants to win to immediately hold out and possibly hurt that team's chances of winning. So I think it's more of some. I think personally for me, it's more of a okay. It's optional. It's not mandatory minicamp. It's something where we've seen Sauce Gardner miss a practice. We've seen Brees Hall miss practices. We've seen Quincy Williams and Quinnen Williams miss practices. There's guys in and out of the building. Once you get to that mandatory aspect, if you see him not present for, I'd say, all three, then we're having a different conversation. But until we get there, I'm still of the belief that he's not going to hold out. But hey, like I said before, it's the NFL. You never know.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I agree. I don't think he's going to hold out. OTAs is optional it is optional, but the real question is going to come if he's at mandatory minicamp or not. But Brandyn, we have a caller on the line, and you've been on his show recently, and this is not any ordinary caller. This is the ESPN Mad Dog Sports Radio Jake Asman show, content creating extraordinaire. Jake Asman joining the show. Jake, how you doing tonight?
Hey, well, thanks for having me, Connor. I saw you had
Yes.
Brandyn on, and I had to call in because I needed Brandon's takes on UFC last night because I was in the building and I'm still fired up over what we watched. So Brandon's an expert on this. I got to get his thoughts.
Oh man. Yeah, you know what? I was very jealous of where you were sitting. I was looking to possibly get into the building, and then I saw the price range. I'm like, I don't know. Not great. But yeah, just honestly, incredible card. I think gonna work my way back from the main one. I mean, Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. What a fight. I know it wasn't the decision that many people wanted, but Islam is one of the most well-rounded fighters I've seen in a very long time, whether it's just the fluidity of him going after the takedowns and the striking and the way he got that submission with the Darce choke, just absolutely incredible. But on the other side, Poirier, just what a heart, what a true fighter he was, and the fact that he was able to push the champ like that tells you all you need to know about him as a person and a fighter. The Paulo Costa, Sean Strickland one, Strickland had it all the way. Like you could tell he was the better fighter. Strickland's so frustrating because he's the type of fighter that could finish a fight in the third or the second, and he just lets it drag, and he just toys with the opponent. And
Which is crazy because his personality is like the total opposite of the guy who's like a tactician. Yeah.
Complete opposite. And then you get to the fifth round and the closing minutes, and the announcer's like, oh, well, maybe Costa's going to come out and possibly steal this one. And then Strickland throws about 10 punches in the span of 5 seconds. And it's like, okay, Strickland's going to win. That's that. Just one of the more frustrating fights where you knew who had control of it, but it's the typical Sean Strickland fight where he leaves so much up the chance when he could just finish it right away.
Yep.
And man, just such a truly fun card. I think the one before that was Kevin Holland. I do not know what was going on with the scorecards. I do not know what was going on with the refs, specifically in the Holland one. Oh my goodness. I was watching him with my dad, and I literally ran out of my TV room because I saw Holland doing the armbar, and then he kept going, and then he kept going, and then he kept going, and eventually he just snapped the arm, and I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen this in a very long time.
Yeah, he did. He
absolutely ridiculous.
Arm and tap. It was insane.
You know what's funny? I thought he tapped earlier. I truly thought he tapped earlier when he was in the armbar. Ref didn't see it. Ref let it go for 5 minutes. And now don't know when that guy's fighting again.
Yeah.
But
look, the fight of the night was
Poirier,
insane. Obviously. Like
yes.
they saved the car. It was great, man. I mean, Dustin's an awesome fighter. I thought he was going to get destroyed after the first round when he was lucky to survive. But he had every answer for the takedowns until round 5. Like he made it a real fight. And like Islam's a much better striker than anyone ever gave him credit for because he never has to really be in a brawl like that because he always just clenches you, wrestles you, and kills you. But that was a hell of a fight, man. That was electric. And like the coolest thing for me was I was lucky enough to be sitting so close. I could actually see Trump's facial reactions and Rogers' facial reactions to Poirier and Islam. Like Rogers was so into it, man. And like I was so close to where they were. I could actually like see how they're reacting in real time. So it was a wild night, man. It was fun.
Do you think Islam's a better striker than Khabib?
He might be. I mean, but like Khabib never like strikes. Like we never really saw it because he would just like
he never had that opportunity. Yeah,
he was so dominant. Like I can't think of one Khabib fight where he was in that spot that like Islam was in last night. Can you?
No, the closest thing was the McGregor fight, but he just dominated McGregor on the ground in that.
Yeah, like and then Conor tapped out ultimately. Like I don't know. I mean, Islam's pretty unbelievable. And like, I know Dana loves John Jones, but like John Jones doesn't fight that much anymore. Like Islam is fighting multiple times a year. That's got to matter in pound for pound rankings.
Absolutely. 100%. But like you
Sorry
said,
to hijack your
awesome
show,
card.
No, all good. One more thing before we let you go, Jake. There's a very special guest who would like to talk.
I already know who it is. There's only one man who would be a special guest that would want to talk to me, even though I talk to him probably like 25 to 30 times a day. I can't get enough of this guy. It's got to be Bobby Midnight.
Here he is.
Yeah, of course. Hey, you didn't tell me you was sitting next to Mike the Situation. I was shocked when you said that.
Yeah, I'm actually trying. My friend has a video he posted of like
Yeah.
the crowd, and in the crowd you could see just me and Mike the Situation like talking about the Islam Poirier fight in between rounds.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing, man. I literally was talking to Mike the
I-
Situation the whole night.
Weren't you with Chris Fowler too?
He was 3 seats next to Mike
Oh,
the
you
Situation.
lucky. I didn't call about the boring UFC. I called for you. That's all.
But you didn't call for Connor?
Yeah, I
You told
always
me
got.
earlier.
I know.
Oh, you were
but
on the show already, Bobby?
Yeah,
Yup.
I wanted to say hi to you and Brandon Brains. How you doing?
Good.
No,
I'm good.
No, UFC stinks. That
Whoa.
No, it doesn't.
Whoa.
I don't like it. I rather
It's better
talk
than
to you
boxing.
and
Have you
Brendan.
watched a boxing fight? They're boring.
No, I don't like boxing after. Do you ever hear of the guy? What was that guy? There was a Chinese guy, Boom Boom Mancini. Do you ever hear Boom Boom Mancini?
Yes, I actually have interviewed him.
He had a fight with. Did he bring up the fight with the Chinese guy? And he wanted to stop the fight, and the sticker referee didn't stop the fight.
The guy who died in the ring. No, we
Yes.
didn't cover that.
Yeah, but that referee, I hope he took it to his grave. He killed that Chinese guy because Boom Boom Mancini wanted to stop that match. Oh no, keep on going. Well, you killed the guy, so you should have. I wish
They changed the rules. It's not like that anymore. That was like 40 years ago.
Yeah, but I saw it on person. He died right on. I cried my eyes out. I'm an emotional person. So
I know that, Bob. I saw you cry when Fireman Ed came on.
Yeah, did you hear that, Connor? I cried when I talked to Fireman Ed the time when I
My
was on
favorite
Jake.
Jake, my all-time like probably favorite Jake Asman show highlight was when Fireman Ed was most recently on the show, and King Lowski and him had a
Oh,
J.
yeah, that was the King
King
Lowski.
Lowski blessed me with one of the JTS Jets on my first show with Antoine Staley today.
I
so.
love that.
Awesome.
I love that. I saw
Hey.
you had Antoine on today, Connor. I gotta watch that.
Yeah, I had
Hey.
Antoine on today, and then in the summer I have Mondays at 9 starting 2 weeks. I have Boy Green weekly
Yes.
show called In the Huddle with
In
Boy
the
Green and
Huddle.
I.
Is that on your channel or his channel?
So it's gonna be on both our YouTubes and then both our Twitters.
Oh,
then-
that's great.
And then every Wednesday, starting I think 2 or 3 weeks, I think we agreed on, is Brandon's Brain joining the show. So
Wow,
9
look at
a.m.?
Brandon getting in on the
Is it 9
content.
a.m. or 9 p.m. for you?
no, so the Boy Green one's 9 p.m. and then Brandon and I
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
when-
remember what time we agreed on, but it's sometime in the let's see. Let me pull it up. We said
I'll be on your show. Hey, Jake, guess where Brendan is today?
Where is he, Bob?
He's in Florida with his grandparents.
Nice. Florida's probably
What
awesome.
part of Florida are you in, Brendan?
West Palm Beach.
Oh, that's a nice place. It's hot down there, though.
It is very warm down here.
Bobby,
Jake,
what are your
what?
thoughts on your infatuation with geography? You always want to know where everyone is.
Well, because I'm a people person. Oh, yeah. Alan was on the show before. He is so hilarious. He said, I'd rather have Bobby as a receiver than Corey Davis. Oh, my God. That was
Alan's the worst. Don't get too close to
Well,
Alan.
he's a mod in Connor's Law's chat. I don't know how he got
Bobby has been going at it with Alan. Bobby, how about this? I'll make you a mod too. So you
Yeah,
and
so
Alan.
I could bounce him off anytime I want. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only teasing. I'm just surprised you make him a mod. I just don't know
See,
how.
the reason I chose him as a mod is because he's always in my show and like
Well, I try to be in your show all the time too.
yeah, I know. I'll make you a mod too. I'm not relatively picky with who I make a mod.
Yeah, I
Whoever
make
I think-
everybody a mod in my chat. Jake will be a mod. Brandon be a mod if he comes on my show. Everybody just
a
talks
mod?
on my show, Brandon. Yeah. Could be a mod.
That's a lot of power. Bobby.
Yeah, you can bounce anybody off you want.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to give everyone that power. Then that could be dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. I did that in the past too. You have to see my whole list of mods in my other chats. Yeah, that's good. All right, so Connor, I don't want to distract your show. I think Johnny might be coming on, right? Johnny wants to come on.
No, Johnny is not in backstage yet, but Bobby.
Oh, okay. Usually he likes to talk like I do, so he might be on for a long time. I think I'll get him my second win. I think I go visit Nick tonight. I think I might get him my. I saw
What time-
Jake. I saw
Nick and
Brendan.
BR at 9 p.m. Bobby.
Yeah, 9 p.m. with
And,
VR.
and Wicker's there too. Adam's there tonight too.
Oh, Adam's there. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bobby,
I'll
how do you
make
keep
sure I
track
get a
of when
pillow
everyone's
for them.
live?
What?
Yeah.
Yep. Bobby, how do you keep track of when everyone's live? Do you have like notes in your phone or like on a
No,
piece of
I have
paper?
notifications.
Oh, so you get notified when they go live. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I
Bobby
subscribe to
introduced me.
everybody.
Bobby introduced me to a new content creator last night who was on with Nick on Thursday too, who I didn't notice is Midnight Mike. I've been
Another
knowing-
one. We don't have. Oh, Midnight Mike's been around. He does a good job. He made Bobby Midnight Bingo.
Yeah, you have to see this. Oh my god, I crap myself up yesterday. He put this game on there, and every time I say, okay, say if I say Jake, or can I see dog, or what? A lot of stuff. Jake will pull up later on his show. Oh well, he did pull it up today on his show. You could see.
Yeah, I
on
showed it.
Yeah, today.
a bingo card.
Yeah, the bingo card. Yeah, he's gonna
I-
make sure everybody can play the game. Maddie X, Maddie, his co-host.
Oh yeah, I know.
He's a good guy. He lives in Denver now. He lives in Colorado, but he's all right. Brandon, you're awesome. Jake, you're awesome. Of course,
Thank you.
Johnny, you are awesome, kid. You do it. You're up to 675 subscribers. Hit the button for this kid. I want him to be monetized so he makes money and he doesn't have to deliver papers like I did at his age. Pain in the butt because there was one lady who never paid me for 4 weeks. So I dropped her paper and she goes, "Oh, I'm not going to give you Christmas bums." So I said, no more delivery for her. Okay, so Connie, you have a great night. You're awesome, kid. A+, okay? And I'll be on every show you give me, okay?
Thank you, Bobby. I
Bobby,
appreciate.
He's amazing.
Do they even deliver papers anymore?
I don't even know if newspaper routes even exist at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god.
That
That
was-
was amazing.
that was an amazing. I mean, I don't know if I can go anywhere from there. I think we have to end it with that legendary Bobby.
Absolutely.
Brandon and Jake, thank you guys for joining me. Everyone, thank you guys for watching. And you guys got anything else to say before we wrap up this eventful show, to say the very least?
I mean, for me, thank you for having me on once again, and can't wait to get started on Wednesday. It's going to be a blast heading into the season.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. And Jake, you got Sabo on Tuesdays and Buffalo on Wednesdays, right? And then does Fialco bounce around a little?
Yeah, Fialco. We try to do Thursdays, but he his schedule sometimes is
Ended then probably by now.
yeah, and like there were a couple days I couldn't do with the Knicks playoff run, so we're gonna try and get back to Thursdays with him. But yeah, good stuff coming. So we'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, everyone, thank you guys for watching, and as always, JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.